Hey everybody. So, long story short, today was crazy, man. It was just like a busy day, but nothing bad happened. It was really, I got a lot of sleep. I rested enough. I drank coffee, which had me like buzzing, like literally vibrating. And like, so far, I've just drank coffee on the weekends. I'm not sure why that's relevant, but like moderation is a key here. Since I stopped going to trivia, I haven't drank alcohol at all. It's literally like only if I go to trivia. I mean, maybe if I go to a restaurant or something, I'll order a beer. But so far, alcohol, caffeine, it's all within moderation. It's not something that my body's like, we need to do this. But I do find myself a little bit on guard about it. Like, I made sure I only drank 2 little 6 or 8 ounce cups. It still affected me quite a lot. But at that point, I was like, all right, we're done. And I think moderation is part of the key here. And as soon as I got out of work, my best friend from high school texted me. We've been texting back and forth, right? And she was like, I guess apparently she's non-binary now. She changed her name too. So there's going to be a couple adjustments I need to make. I'm not really good at the they them thing. Like, I respect it. I definitely understand and respect, the decision. I get where you're coming from. Sometimes it's not easy for me to remember though. I'm just a creature of habit. I'll get used to it. But they're coming to meet me at Lake Elkhorn. Apparently they live around here, and it's really funny because I live really close to here too. So we're close to each other, even though where we met up was not close to where we live. But this is one of my favorite spots, and I guess they are very sporty now. Like back in high school, we used to walk everywhere. Like, that's what we did. We walked, and then she started biking. They started biking, and then suddenly it was a game changer. But we went everywhere on foot or by bike, one of the two. And we were like some fit little 16, 17-year-olds at that point, because we were friends for years, all through high school. It was like the end of high school. That's when we stopped hanging out. And then we had relapses over the years, where we would get back into each other's lives every so often. But they went on this huge hiking trip this morning, and when they asked me if I wanted to go hiking, I thought they meant today. So I was like getting ready. I found my hiking backpack, and I was like, okay, you pick me up here, we'll carpool together. And they're like, I just started a face mask, and I'm pretty physically spent for the day. And I'm like, okay, no problem, I'll just go by myself. So instead of doing like a big trail like we intended, I am just going to do Elkhorn. And then like 20 minutes later, I got ready. I got here on the way here, and they texted me saying like, okay, I'm coming. So I think they're going to meet me here, and we're going to catch up while walking around my favorite place. So this should be fun. But like, I found myself thinking about it, and I don't know how I'm going to explain everything. There's not enough time. There's not enough context. Because in order to explain everything, like, I can explain that I was suicidal and that I wasn't okay and that I needed to get out of my entire life and start over. I can explain that part. But twin flames, how I started reading cards, the parade of masculines, all the spiritual lessons. Got 5,000 videos that I just don't have time to cover. And even if I did, I mean, it's not that she wouldn't understand. They wouldn't understand. Out of anybody in this world, I think this friend would be the one that would not look at me like I was crazy. They would hear me out. Strength. They would hear me out. They would have their own perspective. They would be honest with me, maybe blunt. And even if they didn't understand, they wouldn't judge me. And toxicity aside, trauma bonding aside, that was always our relationship. Good or bad, we told each other the truth. Even if it was crazy. Even if it was too much. Even if it wasn't normal. And I'm finding myself really glad to have them back in my life, even though we've just texted so far. And I would be hesitant to demonstrate like a severe amount of trust because, like I said, last time I put all of my trust in their hands, I got screwed over. I made sacrifices for them and I got screwed over. But that means that I'm not going to trust them with paperwork or responsibilities that like are important to me. That just means that that's not the kind of trust I'm going to demonstrate right off the bat. That's going to be a boundary. But I also know they weren't in the right frame of mind when all of this happened. I wasn't in the right frame of mind when I went off on them. It's time to release the past. We had that Six of Cups energy come up and a spontaneous visit. And I thought that was going to be a masculine on his way to us. But maybe it's an old friend. Making it work despite all odds. Because that's effort, right? Because that was what I said we needed, right? Somebody that checks on us. Communication's been daily check-ins, asking how you are, what you're up to, how you've been, making jokes. And despite them being exhausted from hiking all day and finally getting home and being ready to relax, when I said I was going to go by myself, I meant it, that I was okay. But they're going to come anyway. They are making time for me. And I can't help but feel that no matter what else we went through, Spirit brought them back into my life for a reason. Whether it's a lesson or a blessing. And you can't just find a new friend that you've known since you were 14 years old with all that history and that kind of comfort. You can't just make another friend that's going to be that kind of friend, or that's going to make effort for you, or that's going to make time even when it's not comfortable. So far, they're checking all the boxes. I almost said he just now. And I'm just like, this is what I'm talking about. The pronouns just screw me. Screw me up. No, screw me. Screw me up. I'm going to try my best. And I think that's all we can do, right? I think that is the point right now. Trying our best, making our effort, due diligence, and being open to situations that you didn't see coming. Because like I said, I thought this was a masculine coming in. Maybe it still is. 10 of Pentacles. But I also said, Knight of Pentacles, I also said that I would be just as happy with a friend right now. A soul connection, closeness, a bond. And I'm grateful for that opportunity.